All right, today is October 20th, 2020, and it is the early access for Solasta, Crown of the Magister. This is a game that I got a demo of a while back, and it's from a game called Tactical Adventures. It's their first game, and I've got to say, it's an amazing first effort. So this game is based on the 5th edition SRD, which means it's not actually D&D rules. It's kind of the basic rules that are expanded upon, kind of like Pathfinder was 3.5, that they built off of. It was built on the same SRD, the publicly released kind of open source rules from Wizards of the Coast for D&D. So some of the things look familiar and some of them really don't. We'll start with the character creation. So in here you've got dwarves, half-elves, humans, elves, and halflings like normal with slight variants. So here we've got hill dwarves and snow dwarves, difference between dex and extra wisdom. Half-elves get their +2 in charisma and their 1 point in 2 other scores. You can look over here and you can see their movement is based on 5-foot squares, like D&D is. So dwarves are going to have a 25-foot base movement. Half-elves, humans, elves are going to have a 30-foot movement, and then halflings are also going to have a 25-foot. Now, high elves, there's a variant of it called Sylvan elves, which are kind of like wood elves. They get a 35-foot base movement, which is kind of awesome. They are dex and wisdom classes. Guess what? That's perfect for rangers. Humans, +1 on everything like normal. And then halflings, you got 2 variants. You got marsh halflings, which are constitution and dexterity. And then you have the way more likable island halflings, which are dexterity and charisma. So let's just be boring. Let's make us a fighter. So in classes, comparing it to Baldur's Gate 3, which just came out 2 weeks ago, because, you know, it's hard to look at a game like this and not compare it to Baldur's Gate 3. You have cleric, fighter, ranger, wizard, and rogue that you have in Baldur's Gate 3, but you swap out the warlock for the paladin. Now, I don't know if they're planning on more in the future because this is early access and this is literally the first day of it, but this is what we've got for now. 6 classes. So we're going to pick a fighter. Now, one of the complaints about Baldur's Gate 3 is that you don't get to see how you build your fighter as levels go on. So you can click this button right here that says at higher levels, and it will show you at level 2 you get Action Surge, which lets you do 2 actions in a turn. Level 3 lets you pick your martial archetype. Level 4 and level 8 and level 6 are your ability score bonuses, so you either get to raise ability scores or get a feat. And then at level 5, you get an extra attack. So it lets you see how you're going to build your character as time goes on. You can click on these martial archetypes, and we don't get it until level 3, but you can go ahead and pick it and kind of see how it works. So we've got Champion, we've got a Mountaineer, and we've got a Spellblade. A Spellblade is going to be, you know, basic cantrips and spellcasting. Mountaineer, you're gonna be a shielded fighter, and then your Champion is probably better if you're going to do a great weapons fighter or a dual wielder. So right now I'm just going to choose Champion. It doesn't matter until we get there. And then we can edit our starting equipment. This is another complaint about Baldur's Gate 3, that it did not let you do this. Here you can choose whether we want to start with chainmail or whether we want to start as a ranged archer or a ranged fighter with a longbow and arrows and leather armor. We can pick our base weapon. Let's see. I cannot, unfortunately. Oh, yes, I can. Look at that. There's my Warhammer, because I don't know if you know who Gloryhammer is, but I am absolutely going to make Angus McFife. So, Warhammer and a shield. Don't think I can take a great hammer in this game. It does not look like it. But, yeah, it lets you pick your starting equipment, which is way better than Baldur's Gate 3, which just throws you in with whatever it wants to give you. So light crossbow or 2 hand axes that we can throw for our ranged attacks. And then Dungeoneer's pack or Explorer's pack. This is down to preference. So Dungeoneer's pack, you get a backpack, 10 torches, some rations, a potion of healing, and an antitoxin. Explorer's pack, you get a backpack, only 5 torches, ration pouch, and a healing remedy. We're going to go with the Dungeoneer's pack in this. Validate, and let's go next. So next we're going to pick our background. There aren't a lot to choose from here like there are in Baldur's Gate 3 and like there are in the main rule book for Dungeons and Dragons, but this is again based on the 5th edition SRD, which only contains Acolyte, so the rest of them are their own. So we know about Angus MacFife that he was a noble, so we're going to put him as an aristocrat. He is lawful, and he is also altruistic. So then we come over here and we can pick our alignment. He is going to be neutral good. That's going to give us, again, the ability to choose flags, and you can come over here and you can see what score it has assigned to them. So he is again going to be altruistic, and we'll see that one move up the ranks to here. It went from an 8 to an 18. And kindness. This is Angus. All right. Next, we get our scores. Now, you can pick the standard array, and usually when I play tabletop, this is what I do: 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. But you can roll dice, and you can just keep re-rolling them until you get what you want. Look at that. There's an 18 right there, so we're just going to slap that one in strength. We're going to give him some constitution. That's also going to get us to an 18 for a +4. And in this, you won't even numbers if you can get them. That's where you get your bonuses from. They always come on even numbers. Bonus is based on your ability score minus 10 divided by 2. Round down. So 18 gets you a +4. Next up, let's throw some dexterity in there. Give them some AC. That's going to give us a +3 because it's only a 17. And we know that we get our bonuses on even numbers. Charisma. That's going to help if we're going to do Intimidate, because it's based on Intimidate. Or it's based on Charisma. Then let's throw some Wisdom in there so we can get some Perception and give him some Intelligence. He's a really smart fighter. Fighting style. Ultimately, I want him to be a great weapon fighter. I want him to wield a two-handed hammer because he is Angus MacFife, and he's fighting for Dundee. Next up, we got to choose our skills. So acrobatics, athletics. We don't get the ability to choose athletics. So we get 2 class skills. I'm going to take acrobatics, and I'm going to take intimidation. We get 1 ancestry language and 2 background languages, so I can kind of max out what I've got. I'm going to go with Dwarvish, Elvish, and Halfling, so he can just speak to everybody. He's the ruler of Dundee, and he's got to be able to talk to his constituents, whether they're dwarves, elves, or halflings. And then finally, this is where we fall behind. And let's go ahead and stop right here and say that, yes, I know that graphically this is not super impressive. So it's worlds behind Baldur's Gate 3. This would be groundbreaking for 2006, 2007-ish. Not in 2020. But here's the thing. It's early access. There's probably more coming. I don't know that for sure. But what we've got now is what we've got now. So, got a couple of faces to pick from. Let's go with this guy. There we go. Let's go back with him. He's in Scotland. He's got to be like fair-skinned and redheaded, right? So, we'll go there. Doesn't have a beard. He's going to be a redhead because he's Scotland. And we've got a few voices to pick from.
Well struck.
Most impressive.
Let there be light. Hold firm. You've endured worse.
The voice acting in this game is not terrible, but again, you know, it kind of lags behind AAA titles like Baldur's Gate 3. So it is what it is. And there we go. We have finished a character. So let's move on and look at some of the gameplay. So let's talk gameplay. Comparing this to Baldur's Gate 3, because we have to compare this to Baldur's Gate 3. It's 2 RPGs that both came out in early access 2 weeks apart that kind of target the same market. General movement, it's a little chunkier than Baldur's Gate 3. It's not as freeform. It's on a grid. You don't see that grid until you click, but it's all grid based. Interface wise, you know, it's kind of the same thing. You've got your inventory menus. They're fairly intuitive. You can drag and drop things. You've got your map screen where you can go to. and you can actually click on exactly where you want to go and just go there. And then you've got your quest logs. I think the buttons may be the same to pull them up, but it's all there. Another thing I like is in that quest log, you've got a bestiary that, as you fight things, it fills itself in. The things that you wouldn't know as a character, but you would know as a player, the so-called meta knowledge that a lot of DMs don't like you to have. So as you fight characters or as you fight enemies, they start showing up in the bestiary, and you can see their AC. And you can see their hit points as you figure them out and you learn more about them. Otherwise on the interface, everything is kind of what you would expect. Hold down Alt, you can see things to interact with. Characters have exclamation points over their heads for to let you know they're a quest giver. You can mouse over and see a text bubble show up to let you know that you can talk to them. They're not breaking any new ground here with this interface
Hello,
design.
adventurers. What can I offer you?
But, you know, that's fine. It's an RPG game. This is exactly
Tell
what we
us about
expect.
your tavern.
Now, we got to talk about
It's
these
not that
graphics
old,
again
but
and the
somehow it
conversation
feels like
system.
it's been here forever.
The
You can
graphics,
meet all kinds of
yeah,
people here,
no,
that's
I
the
get
good
it.
thing.
They're
An old
not great. You
scavenger,
look at it and
a
you go,
diplomat from the council,
wow, am I in 2005
a
again?
lord, a
But
mayor.
you're not. You're in
We also have
2020,
instrument by the
and
name-
it's going to
Why
go
the
on for
name?
another 83 months.
Keeps car.
So,
Well,
yeah,
it's
thanks,
very
2020.
old from imperial times.
The conversation
Perhaps the
system,
historian would know, but I
instead
don't.
of being one character talking to an NPC, it's your entire party.
We'd like
And
to stay
each
for
member
the
of your
night.
party gets
Sure.
one
Just walk
thing
up to the
that
sea
they can say,
and settle in.
which is weird,
Well, it's more like a large
but
river, really. But you know,
they make it work,
this is
I
the capital
guess.
city.
So let's move on to combat, which is what I know everybody cares about. And I will start out by saying, wow. The Baldur's Gate 3 complainers who wanted real-time with pause are going to be disappointed because this is once again a turn-based game. But being turn-based allows you to be tactical, and once again, let's go back and point out that tactical is in the name of the company making it. Now, the way they handle combat is true to the tabletop. It is the most realistic to tabletop gaming that I've seen. They're very transparent with it. They show you the dice rolls. They show you the AC once you fought the thing enough. And you have ready action, which I did right there, which Baldur's Gate 3 cannot do yet. But that allows me to say, I have initiative. I should go in this turn, but I don't want to do anything yet. But as soon as somebody moves into my range, I want you to shoot them. And it does it. Ready action works. The transparency with disadvantage and advantage, with rolling your dice, with adding your proficiency and your skill bonuses, with everything like that, man, they have absolutely knocked it out of the park with the combat in this game. When you move your characters, you can see when you're getting behind cover. You'll see a shield icon pop up with a half shield marker on it for half cover. You'll get lines radiating out from your character as you move them, so that you can see who you're able to hit from there. And they've just kept it so accurate to tabletop, and I love tabletop D&D. So I am only maybe 3 hours into this game and just in love with it. So with that said, where should you give your money? This is two fantastic early access RPGs that have come out within 2 weeks of each other. One of them is a AAA title by a well-established developer in Larian Studios and Baldur's Gate 3. And the other one is, from this relative unknown, this is their first game. And where we go. So, storyline. We know from Larian and from Wizards of the Coast, they're going to put something great together. That's what they do. And we don't know where this is going to go story-wise. I'm not far enough into it to even comment on what's in the early access story. But so far, it seems like it's there. It's got the potential. Combat. Baldur's Gate 3 is great. I loved Divinity Original Sin 2. I love the way that they have taken that engine and put the Baldur's Gate or the Dungeons and Dragons rules into it. They've kind of taken some liberties with it and done their own homebrew, but it feels good. This feels like tabletop. It feels like rolling dice with your
Bend the
friend.
knee.
You can't do it because it's single player only, and Baldur's Gate 3 is multiplayer, but it has that feel to it where you're sitting there and you're rolling dice and you're doing the math and you're actually playing a tabletop game, whereas Larian has taken tabletop rules
Again, harder.
and kind of squished them and molded them to fit into a computer game engine. And that's fine. Both of them have their place, and both of them seem really, really great right now, despite what all the jackasses on the Steam forums will tell you. So there's that. Graphics. Well, Baldur's Gate 3 is leaps and bounds ahead. It's a AAA studio. They've got tons of developers, tons of artists, and the graphics in Baldur's Gate 3 are fantastic. Solasta, sorry. As you can see on the world map, when you're fighting, it's fine. It looks good. Those cutscenes are where you're kind of like, wow, am I in 2005 again? But it's fine. We're not playing RPG games to get, the most amazing graphics in the world, right? So ultimately, what would I tell you to do? In the long run, I think you're going to buy them both. I really do. Both have their own niche, and they both do it well. For right now, as it stands in October of 2020, when both are brand spanking new to early access, I would tell you to give your money to Solasta. It's a great game. I don't think it's going to become abandonware. That's kind of a problem with some of these early access games, is that developers give up on them. But it was a Kickstarter project, so they should have gotten a good amount of money from that. It's in early access now, so they should have more money rolling in to be able to keep developing on this. And I really want to see where this game goes. I think it can be great. It's got a good start to it. It's got a good base right now. And if they can expand on it, man, it can be something pretty amazing. I love the engine. I love what they've done with the game so far, and the way they've, shoved 5th edition rules into a computer game. I want to see how well they can replicate actual tabletop dice rolling with a computer game engine in a single player game. So right now, I would tell you to go give your money to Solasta. Go pick it up and see what you think, and let's hope it grows. So thank you for watching my drunken ramblings on day one of playing early access after I've had a terrible day at work, and hopefully you join me again. Thanks.